All right, welcome in week 5 recap. Got Drew here, weekly prize winner for the week, 158 points, big win for you. And first time had you on this year. It's been a really good start for you. Second place, 8-2, weekly prize now with a 158 to 141 win over Andre. A couple really good teams battling, and you got the win this week. Mainly Austin Eckler, 35 points finally coming through for you, and Travis Kelce with 4 touchdowns last night to really help you get the weekly prize as well.
And 25 yards. That was ridiculous. How do you only get 25 yards with 4 TDs? Hasn't Eckler been decent though? I feel like you keep saying he's not doing great, but I feel like he's been good.
Yeah, I mean, just having 11 points, 13 points in the first couple of weeks, it's like that's still fine, right? But for a top pick, but now the last 2 weeks, 34 and 35. So
that's his absolute floor, though. I think the 11,
yeah.
12 area.
Yeah. And it seemed like they were kind of giving some other guys carries for a little while. And then they were like, oh, yeah, Austin Eckler's like way better than all of these guys. Let's just give him the ball every time. So since they've been doing that, he's been going off. But that was huge for you. But yeah, Kelce, 7 catches for 25 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's one of the wildest stat lines I've seen.
That was insane. This was, I mean, I don't know the stats on literally every week, but I feel like Lamar's had an unbelievable beginning to the year, and he actually came back to earth this week, which is nice.
Yeah.
Dre to me is the scariest team to play in any one week. I can't remember if I put this in the chat, but I know I was thinking it over the weekend that Dre is like, if you have to play him for one game, he's the scariest, but I think Sam might be poised for like the longest run. You know what I mean?
It's so scary going up against the combination of Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews because he can do what he did to me and have 48 from Lamar and 35 from Mark Andrews and end up scoring 200 points. 209 is what he did against me. So that's having that with the combination of Dalvin Cook and Stephon Diggs. Now he has Debo. And even Ramondre right now, I mean, he gave up Jacobs to me, which I'm happy about, but Damian Harris is hurt now. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but as long as he's out, Ramondre is pretty good too. So, yeah, Dre definitely has one of the better teams.
I don't know what to think about Debo.
Yeah.
How was the beginning of his year? You had him, right?
Yeah, and it was just okay. I mean, he really hasn't, he had the 1 week last week, the first week that I traded him, 23 points was a big week. Other than that, it's been 12, 14, 12, 11. So he's been, I mean, I drafted him in the second, third, end of the second, early third round, and he's been okay, but I mean, consistent. And, he gets so many touches that he can't really do worse than that. But he's got so many guys that can just go off. It's definitely scary. So Andre losing with 141 points here. We had a lot of really, really close games this week. One of them I'm dreading talking about. But your game was actually the biggest blowout of the week at 17-point win. That's how close these games were.
And it was close all the way to the end, basically.
Yeah, it was. If Kelce didn't get 4 touchdowns, I mean, there was a chance that you didn't beat him. But, obviously 4 touchdowns.
Definitely. I mean, I think I needed close to 20, right? I think I needed like 17 or 18.
Yeah, I mean, you end up winning by 17. He got 33. So you needed a 16, 17-point game from him. You got about double that.
Wow, I'm just seeing Dre's 5-5. That's crazy. I thought he was
5-5.
Wow.
Yeah. So 5-5 for Dre. He went 1-1 on the week. He beat the median, obviously, with 141 points, but lost to you. So Dre's 5-5 in 4th place, right in the middle there, with a lot of other teams. And you are sitting at 8-2 in 2nd place right now. So good start to the year for you.
Definitely.
Get it out of the way. 121.72 to 121.66. I lost to Jake. I never even considered that I had a chance to win the way my team was playing going into last night. I can tell you I needed 30.4 from Josh Jacobs and I got 30.3. I never even considered it until I think it was halftime and he had about 18 points. And I'm like, I don't want to get my hopes up here because so I didn't really, even at that point, I was like, I don't know if he's going to be able to keep it up all game. And then he did. And I'm watching, like, my heart's pounding the last couple of minutes watching. I'm like, I'm counting the yards because he kept getting catches too. I mean, he had 5 catches for 39 yards, which is huge, 154 yards and a touchdown. And I'm watching every time and I'm like, he needs 15 more yards. And It was with like 45 seconds left in the game. They gave him the ball and he ran for, I knew I needed 6 yards. Like 6 yards wins, 5 yards loses. And he ran for like just about that. And I'm sitting there like refreshing sleeper as fast as I can. And I just see it pop up 5, like he got 5 more yards. And I'm like, I don't think he's going to get the ball again. And then when they went for it on 4th down at the end, I'm thinking, okay, let's give the ball to Josh Jacobs here and just make sure you get that 1st down. And then
it was like a yard, right?
It was 4th and 1. And
what about when his shoe came off too? I think the other back got a carry right after his shoe came off.
Brandon Bolden, of all people, who I've hated for years while he was on the Patriots. I look up and I'm like, that doesn't say 28. And they're like, Brandon Bolden in the game. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then they go to the sideline like, oh, Josh Jacobs' shoe came off. I'm like, tie your fucking shoe. Oh, that was brutal. I did not think I had a chance. And then to come that close and legitimately, if he got 1 more yard, I win the game. 1 more yard gives me 121.76. And to top it off, the league median was between me and Jake. So we texted each other near the end of this game and we were like, it looks like neither of us can go 1-1. Like,
right.
Whoever wins is going 2-0. Whoever loses is going 0-2. I missed the league median by 0.03 and lost to Jake by 0.06. 1 more yard makes me 2-0 on the week. Instead, I go 0-2. I fall to 2-8 and I'm in 9th place. I really needed those wins, and that was probably one of the most devastating losses. I'd say the most devastating loss I've ever had playing fantasy.
Well, because it's like a double loss. Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah. But the other thing is, I feel like this year, have we not been scoring more than prior years? Because like 120 something usually got you a win, I feel like in the past, no?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the big change was last year being the first year at full PPR. So that made a big difference. But even last year, I feel like, if you scored 120, you had a decent chance to win. Right now,
you were like, most of the time we're going to win. I mean, if you had like won the 130s, I was thinking you're always going to win.
120 is not doing it most of the time. And I know, because my team's been scoring about 115 to 120 most weeks, and I'm 2-8. Like, yeah. I'm at the bottom half of the league in scoring. Like, so that's just not enough. The scoring's definitely higher. The other devastating part here for me is that now my players have been okay. Like, I don't feel like I've picked terrible players and huge busts or anything. Obviously Javonte got hurt, so that sucked, but I haven't had like a huge bust. I can't pick for the life of me kickers and defense. Like, I am by far the worst player in the league when it comes to kickers and defense. My kicker and defense this week combined for -2. I had 0 from Koo and -2 from the Dolphins defense. If I didn't play a kicker or a defense, I win this game and go 2-0. So it's all around very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, your kicker was against Tampa Bay, which is, I mean, they just have, I mean, I don't know the stats, but I feel like they always have a good time of possession type of thing. So it's harder for the other team to get a lot of possessions and scores.
Yeah. And obviously it's hurt me with Jalen Waddle since I've gotten him. He's gotten 5 points in back-to-back games. The second I traded for him, Tua died. And then Teddy Bridgewater goes out in this game. He ends up with some guy, Skylar Thompson, playing quarterback. Not good. So, I mean, obviously Josh Jacobs has been amazing for me. So that has, that part has been good, especially after I lost Javonte. I would have been screwed at running back. So that was good. But Waddle has been super disappointing.
What about your tight end? Who is that?
So I had Dalton Schultz, and he's been hurt all year. So now I've been rolling with Gerald Everett, who's been one of the better tight ends so far this year, but he killed me this week. Only getting 1 point, 1 catch for 2 yards this week. So that's not what I wanted.
Frickin' Hawkinson, he got 40 points against me. He got 1.6 this week.
Yep. Saw that coming, right? So, and Justin Tucker put up 17. So when your kicker gets outscored by 17 points, that's never a good sign. And Breece Hall finally came through he came through for Jake, and as a rookie running back that Jake had a lot of hopes for, and he looks really good right now. And Cooper Kupp with his average of 25. So Jake goes 2-0. He's also 8-2, sitting in 3rd place, and I'm 2-8 in 9th, down at the bottom next to Kyle. Sam got a win, 153 to 141 over Noah, another high scoring game. Sam was going back and forth with you for the weekly prize. He needed, it was like I said it in the chat, it was a heavyweight battle going back and forth between Travis Kelce and Daniel Carlson, the kicker for the Raiders, trying to get the high score. And Sam, if he had gotten a field goal attempt at the end there for a 50+ yard field goal from Carlson and he made it, that would have done it for the weekly prize. But either way, Sam got the win, goes 2-0. He's still in first place right now at 8-2. 43 points from Josh Allen. Saquon with another good game with 19. And we need to, I don't know what needs to happen, probably some kind of investigation, because who picks up Taysom Hill at the last second and decides, I'm going to start Taysom Hill at tight end?
Who's his other tight end? Pitts? He was out.
Pitts was out. So, because he didn't have Kyle Pitts in this game, he had to find a waiver wire tight end. And he picks up Taysom Hill. And Taysom Hill, his tight end, had 0 receiving yards, 0 catches, and got 36 fantasy points because he was 1 for 1 passing with 22 yards and a touchdown, 9 carries for 112 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had
none of those things are tight end things. Why is that allowed? That is ridiculous.
It's crazy because he does line up as a tight end and block a lot, but then he plays quarterback
right.
and runs the ball. And Sam just knew the right week to play him. I mean, they don't always use him like that too. I mean, if they always did, that would be an automatic. People would be playing him all the time. But in the last 3 weeks, he has 9 combined fantasy points. Like, they haven't been using him like that. Sam picked him up, put him in, he gets 36. And Noah was pissed off about that, I know. That one hurts.
Yeah, I would be.
Noah had 141. Obviously, Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry has been probably the best combination at running back this year. So that's tough to get a loss with getting 25 and 27 from your running backs. Although I had 23 and 30 from my running backs and lost, but 141, not enough for Noah, and he's sitting right in the middle in 5th place at 5-5. He's got Kyler has been kind of disappointing, I guess, for his standards too. But I mean, Noah's team still, I don't know. How do you feel about Noah's team? I think that his running backs are super scary. And obviously he still has DeAndre Swift, who's been out for a little while. I don't trust Cooper to be consistent enough. I think he's really good, but he hasn't been too consistent. And I don't know about his receivers after that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he has good running backs. I like Kyler a lot. I mean, he's in a weird situation. I feel like his coach sucks.
His coach does suck, and he's getting Hopkins back soon.
Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, maybe he'll pick it up from here. But like you said, I mean, even tight end, I think tight end's important. He got a good week out of Goddard. I don't know if he's done that every week, but yeah. Gallup isn't the answer. I don't even like Robert Woods that much. So, yeah, I agree.
Yep. So Noah's 5-5, 5th place, and Sam sitting in first. Another really close game came down to the wire. Bart and Zach got the win over Chris, 118-111. It was a wild Monday night because Chris had Derek Carr and they had Devontae Adams and Darren Waller. However, Darren Waller left the game in the first quarter with 0. Team face fuck. I don't think I've ever seen this before. They put up 2 goose eggs and still put up 118 points and got the win. Waller got hurt. It was 2 injuries. It was Darren Waller and T. Higgins. So it's not like it was, some no name that they played and got 0. I mean, Waller and Higgins, but 2 goose eggs still put up 118 and still get the win. Mainly their running backs. I mean, 35 from Fournette and 20 from Damian Pierce. And then the fact that, everything Carr does goes to Devontae Adams. Everything that he did for Chris ended up canceling out.
Right, and Trevor Lawrence sucks, just so everyone knows.
You start Trevor, they got to win.
I know.
Trevor Lawrence
not against the media, though.
Trevor Lawrence against a fantasy. I guess I was gonna say he's 1-0. I guess he's 1-1, but as a starting quarterback for fantasy. But yeah, they've struggled at quarterback. They actually had Derek Carr and who they played against this week, but they lost Trey Lance, and it's been a struggle for them at quarterback. But despite that, I mean, the receivers have been really, really good. Fournette finally looked good, and they're sitting at 4-6 now and in 7th place. And Chris's team hasn't been too great. He's not quite all the way down in the basement with me and Kyle, but he's in 8th place at 4-6. So he's right there in the mix. But, Najee Kamara finally had a good game for him. So that was encouraging. But Najee has been one of the most disappointing players in all of the fantasy league this year.
Yep.
So he lost Rashad Penny too. So it's
he's
going to
playing
be
Singletary, who's had a few weeks below double digits.
Yeah. So it's been tough for Chris. We'll see what he can do. His, DK is playing like himself. I mean, because Geno Smith's been pretty good. AJ Brown had a down week, but overall he's been good. So Chris has some players, but he's still going to need to. I pointed out he has one of the lowest points for in the league, and also some of the lowest points against. So when you play Chris, it's a defensive battle. So with the last matchup of the week, another really close one, 115 to 110. Kyle getting his first win of the season, getting into the win column over Hilshi. Only one of them, because this was a low scoring game, so neither of them get the median. So Kyle 1-9 now, but he did go 1-1 on the week, and everybody in the league is officially in the win column. This was a really close game as well, mostly thanks to Tyler Lockett for Kyle getting 27 points. Because other than that, I missed Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes with 38, Tyler Lockett with 27 was basically all of his points.
Yep. I mean, honestly, if you look at Hilshi's 5-5, but if you look at his team on paper, or at least before the season started, you would have thought it was an unbelievable team. He's got Russell Wilson. I mean, I don't need to go down the list. I feel like his whole team is good.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously Jefferson has been, he had, I think, one bad game, but Jefferson consistently he's like Cooper Kupp right now. He's putting up 30 points, like pretty consistently. Marquise Brown's been really good for him too. So, I mean, Ryan's had a good season so far. It's just, losing 2 games this week. He falls back to 5-5. So he's still right in the middle of the pack there with everybody else. But I know he's hurting for that second running back right now.
Yeah, Edmonds hasn't been great.
Edmonds has been bad, and Cam Akers was obviously the guy that he drafted to really be that second running back next to Aaron Jones, and he's also been very bad. So Ryan he needs to find someone else to, and even Jones has just been okay. So he needs to figure out his running backs, but the rest of the team still looks pretty solid for him.
Yep.
So he goes down this week, 5-5. Kyle still in 10th, but finally in that win column. It's me and Kyle all the way down at the bottom, trying not to be last place right now, but long way to go. So we're, both not out of it quite yet. Looking ahead to next week, one thing that was pointed out a bunch is that, I've put you, I think, in the matchup of the week. I think every week so far this year, it's been pretty close to that. Chris had a good comment that you are the opposite of Kirk Cousins. You play in prime time and you just light it up every week. So he's like, maybe the only way to stop Drew is by not putting him in the matchup of the week. He can play in prime time and not at Sunday at 1:00. And I was looking through it anyway, and you're not going to be in it this week. It's going to be Sam, number 1 seed, going up against Andre, number 4 seed. So that's going to be a really good game. And then for the rest of the matchups, I've got Noah. I'm in 9th. Noah's in 5th. Chris in 8th place going up against Kyle in 10th place. Both battling not to be at the end of the league. And we got Jake at 8-2 facing team Facefuck at 4-6 in 7th. And then you at 8-2 have Hilshi at 5-5. So I can't wait for the trash talk to Hilshi this week. I'm really looking.
His team is scarier than his record.
I'm looking forward to it. You'll still be able to get in Hilshi's head and probably force him into a bad decision somehow.
I'll do my best.
I love it. I can't wait. All right. Thanks for joining me. Congrats on the weekly prize. And
thank you.
Yep. Hopefully I can recover. I hope everybody appreciates me still showing up to do the recap. I thought about deleting the sleeper app and quitting fantasy football altogether at one point last night. Didn't sleep very much, but we're still here. At least I can be a good commissioner, even if I suck at fantasy. So. All right. Thanks for joining, Drew.
Yep. Thanks. See ya.